Hello Lennies, I'm wearing latex gloves for this video as Lenny and I sit down to address the bunny nation regarding coronavirus and what precautions you should be taking. Just kidding, I'm really not gonna wear these throughout the video. I've been getting so many DMs, comments, emails about this and how it's impacting our rabbits' lives as well as what we should do going forward. So yeah, I think this is really important and we need to talk about it. Now the good news is that coronavirus is not transmissible between humans and rabbits. So as you guys know, I live in Los Angeles and pretty much everyone here is panicking. Events, stores, businesses, everything is shutting down and there is a huge shortage of food. And actually, like, the first thing that I thought of was not how am I gonna eat, it was how is Lennon gonna eat, because I went to the grocery store just yesterday and there were no spring mix boxes, there were practically no vegetables, like no leafy greens, and that was like kind of a huge wake-up call for me because up until now I had been kind of just like whatever about the whole situation, but I think when everyone around you is panicking, it kind of like makes you panic a little bit. Like, I'm fine, obviously, like I'm not worried about myself. I'm a young, healthy individual, but I obviously do care about how this affects my city, my community, and most importantly, I really don't know what I'm gonna eat, and like that freaks me out because there's no food. It's so bizarre. But I know a lot of countries like Italy and stuff are in quarantine and so many of you cannot leave your homes, or if you can leave your homes, you're not doing so because you're practicing, social distancing, which is what we're calling it here in the United States. And that in itself can be very isolating and it really disrupts, the normal routine of life that you've been leading. There were tons of things that I wanted to do this weekend, videos I want to make where I go out of the house, and unfortunately I have to put that stuff on hold. It really does concern me that people are just hoarding all of the groceries and the grocery supplies and cleaning supplies. That is something that I really, encourage you guys to reflect on yourselves and, understand that there are other people that need some of those things as well. And I just don't find it appropriate to just buy everything off the shelf. Especially like the veggies. I mean, come on guys, But I digress because I want to focus on the bunnies and what to do and all that stuff. So the first thing I really encourage you guys to do, because there's a huge shortage of veggies and leafy greens, is obviously if you have access to that, go buy it right now. Also be mindful of others, don't hoard vegetables. Remember that vegetables are perishable, so even if you did buy a ton of veggies for your bunny, there's no way that your bunny is gonna eat all of it, in like a few days. It's just gonna go bad. So just buy the amount that you would normally buy, or if you have a garden or window box, you can grow some of your own herbs or leafy greens. Obviously the herbs are gonna take less time to grow. So I think like parsley takes 3 weeks, cilantro takes 3 weeks. Spinach, I believe, takes 6 to 9 days. So again, you just wanna start all of this right now just because we don't really know what the future holds. You can also just do this in like a plastic storage container, a bin, anything where you can just kind of plant the seeds. Thankfully, people are not hoarding hay right now, so there's no shortage of hay, but a lot of stores and businesses are closing, and so that might affect your ability to get hay. So I do really recommend to stock up on a variety of different grass hays. This would be a good time to really support small, independent businesses that are really counting on you guys to stay open right now. So if that means like maybe a smaller, pet store, or, your local feed store or barn/farm, that's where the hay comes from. Those places I'm sure will really appreciate your business during these times, and just make sure you're getting, you know, a flake or a bale, something that's gonna last a while. You can also order online, so as long as carriers are still doing their jobs, and you should be okay with that. Small Pet Select will deliver to your doorstep, you know, Amazon. There's just so many places where you can order hay online. So I'm gonna link where we get our hay from, which is Small Pet Select, in the description below. And normally I get like a 10-pound box. So yeah, obviously make sure you have water, make sure your bunnies are hydrated. That's super important. Pellets are great as well because they are non-perishable. So just make sure you're getting high fiber, high quality Timothy pellets, nothing under 20% fiber. Obviously, if you have a baby rabbit, they're gonna need alfalfa pellets, but just do your research, guys. Just Google the different diets. I'm not gonna talk about the diets. I do not recommend an only pellet diet. I've gotten a lot of questions about that. Oh, can my rabbit just eat pellets during this pandemic? No. So, you know, hay is 80% of the bunny's diet. That's the key food right there. The veggies come second, the pellets come last. The nice thing is the pellets are a great supplement. I mean, just use your best judgment and just make sure that your bunnies are getting the fiber that they need and that their guts are moving. That's basically the rule of thumb, is just keep those guts moving and you should be good. As far as like cleaning supplies, I know people are really turning to like bleach and all these like crazy chemicals, and you know, just remember that when you're cleaning out your rabbit's litter box and things like that, you really don't need such harsh chemicals. So try to keep it natural around the bunnies. You know, you don't want them inhaling toxic chemicals and making them sick just for your own paranoias. Vinegar and water and baking soda are great solutions. There's a ton of like natural cleaners that you can use around bunnies. I did make a video on like what to do with your bunnies in natural disasters, which I will link in the iCard and in the description. So just watch that video. It's not quite the same thing as what we're going through now, but some of those, you know, tips can probably apply to this situation. Make sure you've got your first aid kits, your critical care, your thermometers, your hot and cold pads, and the list goes on. I don't need to get too deep into that, but you know, just keep an eye on your bunnies during this time. Keep an eye on yourselves. Like, obviously, you can't take care of your bunnies unless you take care of yourselves first. And finally, I definitely worry about how many veterinarians are going to be available during this time, as many, you know, businesses are shutting down, and it's just really important to have all this lined up, coronavirus or not. This is something I always stress, is to just have all of these, you know, backup plans in the event of an emergency. You know, if your bunnies do somehow struggle with these new adjustments, you want to make sure you have a place to take them to for medical care. And I really recommend reaching out to, you know, the nearest rabbit rescue, fostering a relationship with them, and really creating a support network for yourself. You know, I have so many friends that have bunnies and people that I can just call up and, you know, say, hey, do you have any extra critical care? Or can you watch Lennon for me tomorrow? It's so important to have those resources. And, you know, people always say, oh, it's because you live in LA. That's how you know so many people with bunnies, and that's not true. I mean, having bunnies is not a very common thing, to be quite frank. Not everyone has bunnies, but you have to put yourself in the position to meet other people who have the same pet as you. You know what I mean? And yeah, guys, I just wish everyone the best. You know, take care of yourselves. Be mindful when you are shopping for supplies and groceries, and just do not ration the hay. That is like my number one advice, is just, that's 80% of the bunny's diet, and that cannot be rationed, okay? So like fiber, fiber, fiber. All right, guys, so thanks again. Stay calm. Everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Trust me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.